Here we are again, guys. Here we are again. 1 second. Anyone join? Yeah, Nathaniel. What's up, man? What's up, Nathaniel? Give me just 1 second, guys. When we say Mr. B 6000, you already know. We did this last time and we got a lot of views. 1 second. Okay, change thumbnail. There's the thumbnail. Uploading thumbnail. Guys, we got 3 people up here. What's up, guys? What's up? I'll read your comments in just 1 second. Okay. 5 people, guys. What's up? Okay, guys, we got Nathaniel, Jacob Miles. What's up? OMG. You should check my channel out, guys. Subscribe to Jacob Miles. You already know. Yeah, what's up, everyone that's just now joining? Today we're going to be saying Mr. Beast 10,000 times. Thank you to my boy Jacob Miles for bringing this back up. So, basically, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say Mr. Beast. I said it one time. I'm going to click the space bar. I'm going to say it again. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, until I get to 10K. So, let's play the song, and let's go. Lewis, what's up?
Mr. B,
that actually might be too loud. So. And if you guys, trust me, guys, this is not the first time we have done this. You already know. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Best song, you already know. You already know. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Guys, we've done this challenge a couple months ago, so if you guys want to check it out, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, check out the description too, and make sure to hit that like button. You already know. We got 5 people up here. Hit that like button. You already know. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I should probably move this away. You guys, how much likes we at? How much likes we at? You're at 4 likes, guys. Hit that like button. You know, Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. All right, we got to 100 right now. First 100. I can go and edit. Okay. Check out my video called I joined a pro Fortnite team, and my clips are at the end. Just use those because I'm not on that team anymore. I'll just keep it in there for views. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. If you guys want to, shout me on your Snapchats, Instagrams. You already know, shout me out. What tier are you at? I didn't buy the battle pass because I haven't played that much. Because I don't really want to waste my money on that. Yeah, I'm trying to save up. Next battle pass I'll get though. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. You need to send my okay. I'll send you them right after this. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Try to get to 200 real quick. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. 200. Let's go. And we are currently at 4 likes. Okay. Quick breather. And Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I don't even know how that can set their names anymore. You are showing out your Insta bet. That'll be fire. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Whew. I don't even know how to say his name anymore. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. 300 times. Let's go. Okay. Okay guys, hit that like button here now. Check out the description. Get these vocals good. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. All right, 400 times. Let's go. I should get water before this splits, right? Guys, we got 3 people up in here, 4 likes. Hit that like button. You already know we said Mr. Beast 400 times. Say it, put it in there. Let's get 2 people. Let's go. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. You're on my snap? Yeah. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I will return the favor. I'm telling you. Let's see. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. Hey, I see that. Okay. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. 800 subs. Let's get the 800 subs, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. All right, 500 times. Let's go. Halfway from 1,000. Ooh.
Mr. B 6,000. Oh, Mr. B 6,000. Oh, Mr. B 6,000. Yeah, you know his name. He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay. His thumbnails were made in paint, but if you ask me, I think they're kind of quaint.
Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Fireworks. Oh crap, we got 3 people watching. Crap.
Mr. B 6000.
Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Okay. Oh, we got a subscribe. What's up? Thank you so much for subscribing. Alright, guys, we got 3 people up in here. Guys, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that comment button. Jacob sent me. Hey, my boy Jacob, what's up? Thank you so much, man. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Make sure to drop a like. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. As you can tell, we're playing the same Mr. Beast for 10,000 times. We've done this challenge a total of 3 times now. So I've done this challenge. I said Mr. Beast's name 10,718 times. Actually, no, 20,718 times. That's how much times I said Mr. Beast. So, yeah. Yo, Slucky, what's up, guys? Yo, guys, make sure to hit that like button. You already know. I'm surprised I didn't get an alert for the subscribe. After you eat BRB, bet. Guys, make sure to hit that like button. You already know. Slucky, I think you were in my stream last time I did this. You guys, hit that like button. You already know. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. The more likes we get, the more viewers we get, because more people will see this video. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Check him out. What's up? Welcome back, my boy. We got a subscriber from you, so thank you so much. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Hey, getting Jacob and Conan Clutch, I know. Get some views. Gotta get some views, you know? Subscribers, you know? Trying to hit a K. We're trying to hit a K. We're trying to hit a K. We're on the road to 1K. Our goal is 800 subs, so. Can't believe you at 2K. I know that's insane. I'll be hitting a K soon, don't worry. I'll be up on like 1K gang, or the K gang, you know? The K gang. So if you guys want to hit that like button and subscribe if you are not already. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 900 times. Let's see. We hit 700 subscribers 3 weeks ago. Which, we gained 30 subscribers, but... Okay, we're trying to crank to 1,000 real quick. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. You know what would look probably cooler? I'm not sure, maybe. Oh shoot, well shoot, I can't see, never mind. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Saying Jacob Miles 5,000 times. Hey, let's go. I'll do that too. Shoot. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Okay, 1,000 times. Let's go. Let's go. I do that. I love it actually. These videos always get like a whole bunch of subscribers and views for me, so I'm hyped. Whew. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Okay. You're bored AF? I know. I'm too, actually. This thing gets you bored. Some of our videos are really crazy. We have a video that has 30k views, okay. 31k views. 300. We average 100 views. Like, we always get 100 views. Oh man. This sucks, actually. Wow, this sucks. Mr. Beast, 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 This is where I have no one in my stream talking to me. That sucks. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Okay, 1 second. No. Do I still have? Let's see. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna have to. I'm trying to do this and say Mr. Beast at the same time. Mr. Beast. 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 Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Okay. Share. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. iCloud storage was full. No, it's not. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I'm trying to get it to you, Jacob Miles. 1 second. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Yeah, get it. I want to play that video. Okay. There we go. Let's go. Let's create a video. Okay. Okay. Splits. Got my clips somewhere. Okay. Splits. Deletes. Save this video. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Sorry, I'm not reading comments. I'm not on that page right now. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Let's read comments real quick.
He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay. His
Neon Dom.
thumbnails
Alright, yeah, I'll be Neon Dom.
but if you ask
Be a Neon Dom.
find a quaint.
Beast. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm gonna give you those clips. Mr. Beast. Oh, shoot.
It's random videos are the name of the game. Some might say there is ticket to fame. The occasional intro may not make
all these
sense,
other ones.
but we all get a laugh at their expense. Mr. Beast, 6,000. Oh,
Mr. Beast. Okay. Just give that over to Jacob Miles to edit and put on his channel. Mr. Beast. Hey, where's the freaking video at? It might be too big for me to send it to you. 1 second. Mr. Beast. You guys hit that like button. You already know we got 5 likes. Okay, whew. Yo, it's actually not letting me get that video to you.
Mr. B6000.
Can I send it? Wait, does it say if I can send it to someone?
Mr. B6000.
Facebook. You can send it through Facebook. Oh, you can send it to Instagram.
Yeah, you know his name. He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay.
So, Jacob Miles, what's your Instagram?
But if you ask me, I think they're kind of quaint. Mr.
What's your Instagram? Yeah, what is your Instagram? Mr. Beast. Jacob Miles _ official. I know that's what you're trying to spell. 1 second. Jacob Miles _ official. Hey, that's you. Okay, 3,000 followers. I see you. Alright, I'll send you a message. There it is. Oh, this video has to be shorter than 60 seconds. Okay, 1 second. I could probably get this up down to 60 seconds. So I'm gonna try to get this video down to 60 seconds. Oh, wait. Come on, man. Let's see. I don't think I can. This is like a 1 minute 40 video. I guess I could delete some of my clips. I'll just have to do that. Step up to the party, step up to the party.
Mr. B6000, yeah, you know his name. He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay.
I'll just do in-game clips, so.
But if you ask me, I think they're kind of quaint. Mr. B6000, oh, Mr. B6000, oh. Random videos are the name of the game. Some might say there is ticket to fame. The occasional intro may not make sense, but we all get a laugh.
Mr. Beast. I'll try to cut it short. Put all the chunks that we don't need. How does that? 1 minute and 13 seconds. I'll put out the part where it says you know what to do. 1 minute and 8 seconds. You almost got it, man. We almost got it.
Mr. B6000. Mr. B6000, oh, Mr. B6000.
I don't know if this is any good, but it might be.
Mr. B6000, yeah, you know his name. He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay. His thumbnails were made in paint, but if you ask me, I think they're kind of quaint. Mr. B6000.
Let's see, how long is that? Oh my gosh, it's 1 minute and 5 seconds. This is looking good. Try snap? Yeah, I've been trying to snap, but it hasn't been working.
His random videos are the name of the game. Some might say they're his ticket to fame. The occasional intro may not make sense, but we all get
I'm trying to just make this less than a minute. 60 seconds. Mr. B6000. Oh my gosh, dude. Okay, that did it. 59 seconds. Alright, let's go. I'm just going to you, Jacob Miles. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. It's not that, I mean, I don't know if it's good or not, but it might be.
His thumbnails were made in paint, but if you ask me, I think they're kind of quaint.
Jacob.
Mr. B6000.
Miles. Underscore official. There you are, bud.
Random videos are the name of the game. Some might say they're his ticket to fame.
There you go, man. I sent it to you on Insta. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. There you go, man. I got it to you on Instagram. I'm not sure if they're very good, but Mr. Beast, 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 Beast, Mr. Beast. Did it send? Yeah, I should have. On Instagram. Mr. Beast. I'd check your DMs. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Oh my gosh, dude. This is so dumb.
Mr. B6000, oh, Mr.
Beast. 2,000 times. Whoa. Dang. How long is this video going for? It's almost done. Oh man. Wish I had some more viewers up in here, you know. Oh my gosh, dude. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, dude. You know what? Guys, who got on the live stream? Drop a like there, you know. More likes we get, the more people will see this live stream. Because it goes on like YouTube recommended or for a lot of people, so hit that like button. Let's get to some other accounts right now and like drop a like. If you guys have any other accounts you want to like subscribe, like, you already know. No, other don't subscribe, just like. I don't want to like try to gain like that, but gotta say back to my channel, Daily Dom. Yeah, the more likes you get, the more people will see this.
He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay. His thumbnails were the made in paint. But if you ask me,
I'm gonna head back to the live stream real quick.
Mr. B6.
We got 7 likes, let's go. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast,
The occasional intro may
Mr.
not
Beast,
make
Mr. Beast,
sense.
Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast,
We all
Mr. Beast,
get
Mr. Beast, Mr.
laughed
Beast,
at their expense.
Mr. Beast, 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 Oh, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast.
But if you ask me, I think they're kind
Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Okay. So, okay, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. You already know we got 3 people up in here. If you're in here, make sure to drop a comment. Because we're at 7 likes. Drop a like, subscribe. Read the description. It says I'm playing Fortnite right now. That's stupid. It's alright. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Beast, Mr. 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 Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Beast, Mr. 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 Beast. Yes, we got 3 people over here. Make sure to drop a comment. You already know. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Yo, we're about to hit 1,000 subscribers. You already know. We're getting close. Whoa, bud. I see you, but which one did I send to? Shoot, what I sent it to him on? Should have done light with that. Okay. Okay, we got 3 people up in here, guys. Okay, David Burns, what's up? What the hell's going on? Mr. Beast 10,000 times. Hey, what's up? Sways from Jacob Miles, whatever. I think I just saw you. Huh. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. So if you guys want to, hit that subscribe, or actually just hit that like button. I know because probably both of you guys are subscribed, but hit that subscribe button or like button if you're not already. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I did. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Alright, freaking lips are waiting. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. But if you guys can, make sure to shout me out, because the more likes I get, the more views I'll get. So if you guys have any other accounts that want to drop a like on, that'd be greatly appreciated. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. You want me to get some people in here? Yo, that'd be actually fire, because I'm getting bored. Because there went for like a 20-minute period that I didn't get to talk to anyone because no one is my stream. So yeah, if you could get some people in here, that'd be awesome. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I deserve more than 700 subscribers. Yeah, I'm trying to hit a K. So if you guys want to help me out, shout me out. You already know. I'm trying to get to 1K. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. We're gonna 100% get 10K by Christmas. Where we at a K, 100%. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Probably even sooner. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. But yeah, if you could get some people in here, that'd be awesome. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Okay. Then only stay on that number. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. I'm at 20%. Yeah, guys, if you guys are not already, hit that like button. We're at 8 likes. Let's get to 10 likes. Let's get to 10 likes. Yeah, let's do it. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Okay. Mr. Beast, 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 Beast. Yo! Why? Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast.
The occasional intro may not make sense, but we all get a laugh.
Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Dude, Brent, send me bet. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe right now. My boy Jacob Burns, or David Burns, what's up? David Burns sent me, what the heck, David? Whoa, holy crap. Hey guys, make sure to, let's get that like button going, you already know. My boy's going crazy. Got me 3 people. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. So guys, I cannot tell. We're saying Mr. Beast for 10,000 times. We done this challenge 3 other times, so he said Mr. Beast 20k times. Yo, TK Spawns, what's up, man? Hard to see. Yeah, guys, make sure. Thank you so much for subscribing. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. He's a great grinder, and what? How much subs did he have? Oh, he's at 6,000 subs. Okay. Dang. My boy. Yeah, guys, as you cannot tell, I just told you. So, let's get that like button going, guys. If you guys can, drop a like. You already know. He's a grinder. Bad. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Father Davis Burns sent me. Yo, let's go. Let's go. Shout out to my boy David Burns. Guys, what's up? Holy crap, David. I know he's a grinder. You guys, thank you so much for everyone that's subscribing too. And dropping likes, guys. Thank you so much. David is a goat. Yeah, he is. Holy crap. I was expecting like, honestly said, let me get some people in here. I was expecting like 2 people. You listen to David? Yeah, man. I'm gonna start. I was expecting like 2 people to join. Not gonna lie. Hey guys, thank you everyone that's subscribing and dropping a like. Yeah, we're at 10 likes. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Guys, we're almost at 3,000. Fireworks, let's go. Follow David, Mr. Beast. Are you good? Am I good? Yeah, I'm good. Mr. Beast 6,000. Guys, if you guys are just not joining, we're gonna say Mr. Beast 10,000 times. So if you guys want to stay in here, how long do you think it'll take? 2 hours. I say 2 hours. That's it. Guys, what did he shout me out on? Did he shout me out on Insta, Snap, and then YouTube? Because we're at 10 likes. Yo, we're at 10 likes. Let's go. 8 people watching. Bet. Guys, we're almost at 3,000 Mr. Beastes. Mr. Beast. 734 subscribers, you know it. Mr. Beast. And then someone else subscribe, that's alright though. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. 3,000 times of Mr. Beast. Yo, what's up, guys? 8 people watching. It's 10 likes. But yeah, guys, what do you, if you guys didn't hear me, what do you shout me out on? Did you shout me out on Insta? Because I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting this much people. I was expecting like 2 people to join, honestly. 2,000. Insta? What's his Insta? What's his Insta? I don't know. I'll follow him. Insta? Okay. Alright. Someone drop his Insta down below. I'll go follow him. David Burns. That's it. Whoa. Don't want to see that. David Burns. So. Is this him? Oh, that's not him. Okay. It might be. One second. No, that's not him. Okay. It's just David Burns. It's David Burnsy. Okay. Yeah, that's him. Did he put me on his story or? Because I'm looking at it and I'm not seeing it. Put me on his story? Shoot. He has. Dang, bro. Because I'm not even seeing it on his story, to be honest. I followed him. What a G, dude. He's live on Insta. Oh shoot. Guys, what's up? What's that video does he makes? He makes like raps or something. Makes amazing songs. Yo, honestly, thinking about making some songs, so if you guys want to hit that subscribe button, turn on noties, might drop some fire songs. Not even lying either. I'm not even lying. Y'all, we can listen to one of his rap. We can listen to one of his raps real quick. Okay, let's turn this off real quick. We can listen to one of his raps. Let's listen to one of his fires, I guess. I can find where he was up in here. David Burns. Okay. I'll subscribe to him. Burns. Wait, what? This ain't no like copyrighted, is it? Probably not. Wait, time out. I'm afraid this is gonna be like copyrighted or something. It probably isn't, but I'm kind of scared. Listen to All In. His raps are, yeah. Listen to All In. It's the best one. Okay. Well, holy crap. Oh, okay. He has just a... Go far. I don't even see an All In. Wait, is that what it's called? You guys will... Okay. Well, let's get this challenge going. Thank you so much, David, for that shout out. It means a lot. Mr. Beast. I almost clicked restart. Mr. Beast. 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 You already know. Mr. Beast. 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 Listen to All In. All In. Okay, I'm gonna listen to All In. David Burns. All In. That's him? That's not him. This is the guy who shout me out? $500K? This guy has 500K views and he shouted me out? What the heck? Am I supposed to like cry or something? Please. Oh wait, it has you know I don't even care about copyrighting. Should I? Nah, I don't care about it.
Money in your pants, probably why it's falling. Stack my money in the bank, so it's never falling. I'ma pop up with it again, we gon' put her all in. Yeah, can't take a loss, I don't trust you when you talk a lot. Acting like a zombie, copy how they talk. What's the drip? I don't think they drippin'. $1,000 jeans, tell me why they got the ribs then.
Let's listen to All In. He shut you out? David Burns. My dude's actually popping. He shouted me out. I think I'm supposed to like cry or something. I don't know. Played by YouTube Team Core. My Team Core. Dang. Oh shoot, no. No. I was actually kind of pumping that. Oh. I was bumping that. Oh.
wish it would happen before it started. Too much money in your pants, probably why it's falling. Stack my money in the bank, so it's never falling. I'ma pop up with it again, we gon' put it all in.
How do you guys 6.1K? Dang. I'm about to listen to some of his songs after this. Same, I know, all in my, yeah. Why don't you have Google Chrome? I don't know. Yo, that's actually fire. That is actually fire. That dude shouted me out. I wasn't expecting that at all. Mr. Beast. How many subs did you get? Like, I don't know. 10? No, not 10. I forgot. How much was I at? All I know is I got like a whole bunch of likes, and that's fire. Mr. Beast. Alright, let's get into the challenge. Let's go. Let's get this challenge done. What if you guys all drop a like? More people will watch, will view. Hey. Mr. Beast! Mr. Beast, yeah. Mr. Beast. Everyone, if you comment Mr. Beast down in the comments, it counts for this, so help me out. Everyone comment Mr. Beast, everyone spam it. Help me out with this challenge. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Now listen to Don't Know by David Burns. Okay, there's one Mr. Beast. Guys, everyone comment Mr. Beast down below. Spam it. Let's get the challenge done. That's another Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. And another Mr. Beast. Alright. And I said it too, so there's another one. Yo, let's go. I'll just have to end the stream because no one was joining. Yeah, I guess we got 5 people up in here. There's another Mr. Beast. There's another Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Another Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Another Mr. Beast. Because he's commenting it and I'm saying it. So Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. And that counts for 2. That counts for 3 actually. That counts for 3. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Oh, that's 10. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Alright. Ooh. We're going crazy, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. Okay, we got another Mr. Beast, so that equals 2. Oh shoot. That equals 5. I don't know. I don't either, honestly. I honestly don't. There's another Mr. Beast. Well, you'll be back in 15 minutes? Bet. One last Mr. Beast. Bet. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Yo, imagine if Mr. Beast joined. That'd be so fire. You don't understand how, like, I would actually poop my pants if Mr. Beast joined. Oh, we got 3 more Mr. Beasts. Mr. Beast, let's go. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast in the chat. Another Mr. Beast in the chat. Another Mr. Beast in the chat. Another Mr. Beast in the chat. Every time someone says it, I'm just adding. Go like my new video. 1 second, let's check it out real quick. Let's check out this video real quick. Welcome Neon Dawn. Hey! Let's see that. Let's have a like. Let's go. 1 second, I'm gonna comment on that. Yeah! Alright. Let's go. I'll shout that out. 1 second. Neon Dom. Wait, I don't even really get. I'm not really. Let's go. 2K subs by tomorrow. Alright, let's go. Get your viewers to watch. Yo, guys. Oh crap, we got a couple Mr. Beasts. Alright. Get your viewers to watch. Yo, guys, everyone, go to Jacob Miles' newest video. And it's the Fortnite clan. It's my Fortnite clan that I'm in. So guys, check it out. It's some of my clips. So if you guys want to go see some of my clips, go to my boy Jacob Miles and drop a like. And those are my clips. Those are kind of I mean, they're alright clips, but I got way better since then. Pro Fortnite clan. Drop a comment. You already know. Yo, I need to get my charger real quick. How much views are you right now? 4? Alright. Upload it. Oh crap, it was 4 minutes ago when you uploaded it? Alright. I'm gonna go get my phone charger real quick. Be right back. Everyone be spamming Mr. Beast in the chat.
Mr. Beast 6000, yeah, you know his name. He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay. His thumbnails were the made in paint, but if you ask me, I think they're kind of quaint. Mr. Beast 6000, oh, Mr. Beast 6000, oh. His random videos are the name of the game. Some might say,
whoa! Don't want to show anyone anything on my phone. I'm not hiding anything or nothing, but still. Alright. Okay, so now I gotta hold this up so I can read the comments somehow. How am I gonna do this? You guys, I'll even go to like 20K. If the views are up and I'm hyped, I'll go to 20K. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Honestly, I don't care about views. I just care about who's commenting. That's really what I want. Cause I'll get bored. So if you're commenting in my chat, then I'll go to 20K. Hey, I appreciate you, bro. See you later. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. 3.7, let's go. We're almost there. Yo, I appreciate whoever just subscribed. Means a lot. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast,
Yeah, you know his name. He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay. His thumbnails
Okay.
were the made in paint, but if you ask me, I think they're kind of quaint.
Is there any way I could keep my stream to stay on this screen, maybe? Probably. You know what? I have a good idea. I know half of you guys don't want to look at all these quick box things, so what I could do is I could lower it so it's just. Oh wait, no, that's not working. Okay, never mind. Pretend I didn't say nothing. Yo, whoever just subscribed, I appreciate you. He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay. His thumbnails were the made in paint, but if you ask me, I think they're kind of quaint. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 4,000 times. Ooh. Let's go. Let's get it. Oh. Oh man. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast.
But if you
Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast,
Videos are the name of the game. Some might say they're addicted to fame. Occasional intro may not make sense.
4.1K.
We'll laugh at their expense.
My subscriber count someday or someday. I know 100% it's gonna be at 4.1K. Easy. Cause I'm not grinding. I'm not gonna stop grinding until Mr. Beast is a beast, Mr. Beast is a beast, Mr. 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 Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast,
Beast, you know his name. He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay. His thumbnails were the made in pain. But if you ask me, I think you're kind of quaint. His random videos are the name of the game.
Let's go check out how much views you got.
The occasional
12, let's go.
intro may not make sense, but we all
Actually, he's
get
at
a
15,
laugh
5
at
likes.
their expense. Mr. Beast,
Mr. Oofy.
$6,000.
Let's go, he's like a couple days ago. Or a couple
Mr.
minutes
Beast,
ago.
$6,000.
Yeah, try to check out my montage. Check out my bunch of videos. Where were we? It was likes. So likes already? That's some likes already? Yeah, I was just checking it out. That's fire. Is there like a Snapchat, like a team Snapchat or something, or a team Instagram chat or something? Yo, I'm trying to get added to it, you know?
Yeah, you know his name. He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay. His thumbnails were the made in pain. But if you ask me, I think you're kind of quaint. Occasional intro
Yo, we're going crazy right now. Oh no no! Oh my gosh, I'm almost starting to count. Because I know I almost did earlier. Whew, Miss Reese. Oh, 444. Let's go. Hey, let's go. We're in the group chat. I see you. I see that group chat. Let's go. Some might say there is ticket to fame. The occasional intro may not make sense, but we all get a laugh at their expense. Mr. B6000. Oh, Mr. B6000. Oh, Come on. Stay up. Stay up. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast.
It's random
Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast.
The occasional intro may not
Mr.
make
Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast,
sense. We all
Mr.
get
Beast, Mr. 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. 4.8K. Oh my gosh. This is so hard. It's not hard, it's just tiring. Yeah, it's boring AF. What's up, my necklace? How much viewers are we at? Okay, we're at 3 viewers. What's up? Everyone drop a like if you're not already. You already know. Oh man. Mr. Beast, 5,000. Halfway there, guys. Halfway there. We're at 11 likes. Yes. Yes. Let's just take a quick 2-second break. Not even 2. Okay. Let's do a little more than 2 seconds. Let's do it.
It's random videos are the name of the game. Some might
okay, let's see how much
say
views.
ticket to fame. The occasional intro may not make sense, but we all get a laugh at their expense. Mr. B 6,000. Oh, Mr. B 6,000. Oh, Mr. Beast. Oh,
Okay. We made it. We made it to the big leagues.
Mr. B 6,000.
We're probably about 100 views right now on this video, on this live. So we're gonna try to garner up to 300 views on this live stream so far. Everyone drop a comment, you already know. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. How long have we been going for? That is so stupid. 97 minutes. I need to restart the song soon. Mr. Beast. Oh my god. Ah! Mr. Beast. Mr. Freaking Beast.
Mr. B 6000, yeah, you know his name. He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay. His thumbnails were made in paint, but if you ask me, I think they're kind of quaint. Mr. Random videos are the name of the game. Some might say they're a ticket to fame. The occasional inappropriate rap. We all get a line bad back. Mr. Beast.
Getting mad now. Mr. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. 6,000. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast,
6000, oh, Mr. B6000, yeah, you know his name. He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay. His thumbnails were the made in paint. But if you ask me, I think they're kinda quaint. Mr. B6000, oh, Mr. B6000, oh, his random videos are the name of the game. Some might say they're a ticket to fame. The occasional intro may not make sense, but we all get a laugh at their expense. Mr. B6000, oh, Mr. B6000, oh, Mr. It's here to stay. His thumbnails were made in paint. But if you ask me, I think they're kind of quaint. Mr. B6000, oh, Mr. B6000, oh, his random videos are the name of the game. Some might say they're a ticket to fame. The occasional intro may not make sense, but we all get a laugh at their expense. Mr. B6000, oh, Mr. B6000, oh, Mr. Beast, oh, Mr. Beast, oh, Mr. Beast, oh, Mr. Beast, oh, 6000, Mr. B6000. Mr. B6000, oh, Mr. B6000, oh, Mr. B6000, yeah, you know his name. He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay. His thumbnails were made in paint. But if you ask me, I think they're kind of quaint. Mr. B6000, oh, Mr. B6000, oh, his random videos are the name of the game. Some might say they're a ticket to fame. The occasional intro may not make sense,